Caught me in mid-mouthful, whatever. Hi. Welcome. Good morning. Coffee grind sandwiches. Yes. Delicious. Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried a spoonful of instant coffee? Dude, it'll set you free. Set you free. Cutthroat Comics, I won't be here for the stream. Oh, that's okay, buddy. Speaking moistly, good morning, guys. I'm still plugged up. I apologize. Canadian weather, that's all I got to say about that. Good morning, Matt Rubin. Good to see you. You're here after my Star Trek comments. They were all jokes, by the way, last night. It was all in humor. Wow, look at the conversation. Price point. Character being non-attractive. Interesting. JT, good morning. The hate has begun. Severus is here. I found many articles. Many. There are several things why people are losing their minds. TJC, good to see you. It's not just one thing, it's several. That's what really drew me into doing a live stream about this. I was wondering, what exactly is it? Yo, Joe Jerk is here. Coffee time, buddy. Good morning. I hope you guys had fun last night for Versus. Changing it up a bit, did some Star Wars. Just for a little variety, you know what I'm saying? How's everyone doing? You guys enjoying your Saturday? I hope you are. Oh no, dude! I knew you were just joking. It was funny. You know I have respect for the Trek, especially the movies. That was my jam. Who doesn't like Captain Kirk, man? Come on. This is the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars The Old Republic MMO Collector's Edition. You guys remember this? This giant box houses a statue of Darth Malgus. Yeah, a giant, I think it's Sideshow collectible Darth Malgus. You guys remember this? Back in 2011? All right. I have this here because I have a couple points that will reflect the Star Wars game we're about to talk about. It's called Star Wars Outlaws. I guess let's start with Comic Book Gaming's article. Start with these guys. Comic Book Gaming. Star Wars Outlaws slammed by players over controversial restriction. Okay, so what's the controversial restriction? I think I have an idea. Star Wars Outlaw got a release date and a new story trailer this week, which we will take a look at parts of it later on in the stream. In the process, the new Ubisoft game generated some hype, but also generated some reservations and some backlash. No! Star Wars generated backlash? How could this be? The former about the game itself, including the art direction of the characters, while the latter has been about the price in some of the game's special editions. There has also been some backlash over the restriction that has been put on the place of physical copies of the game. Whether you buy a retail copy on PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or S, well, you can't buy a physical copy on S, actually. Thank you very much. You will need an internet connection to install the game. Weren't we talking about this the other day? Isn't that sort of the norm? What are we going to do about that? We can't do anything. That's the way it is, right? This is not something new. There are companies that approach it differently, like Capcom, where they ask, actually, I found this out. I think Matt was bringing this up. Capcom asks if you mind if your data gets tracked, you can say yes or no, but they don't require you to be online. Whereas it looks like Ubisoft requires you to be online. TJC, thank you for the one gifted membership, buddy. I appreciate the support of the channel. And that's one of the best ways you can support the channel is by becoming a channel member. There are 3 different tiers. And as you saw, if you were on the stream last night, you can become a guest on the stream with Chad and I, or one of these solo morning coffee streams, as Just Jeff found out. If you're at the highest tier, if you're at the entry level tier, you can game with us. And we're deciding as a community what games to play next. There you go. It's not an issue for most looking forward to the game, but it will be an issue for some. In fact, it will prevent some from playing the game full stop. Meanwhile, even those it doesn't impact are calling it a bad practice. Well, what do we think? It unfortunately seems that Ubisoft has started putting that comfortable not owning your games into effect. Ubisoft is by far not the first company to do this, by the way. So I don't know why they're getting all this hate. There's no good reason why a single player game can't have a fully playable build on the disc. It's an actual artificial block, just like the Avatar game, to make sure you can't play without the patch, just purely out of malice. Writers of one Reddit user. So, what do we think? This is the first controversy. There's a bunch. As someone who buys exclusively digital, this is ridiculous that a physical disc requires an online connection to install. Not everyone has reliable internet or unlimited data to work with. So that I do sympathize with. I know people that are in rural parts of Ontario that cannot get fast internet or a stable internet connection. They just can't. So I sympathize there. JLS, good to see you, brother. Good morning. Good morning, Bat Stan. Huh. Oh, there's the box art. For what it's worth, it is estimated that about 10% of new games have this requirement, and this number is only growing. As for why publishers are opting for this requirement, it has a few reasons. The chief reason is to ensure the game can't be played without a day one patch. Why? Why? Can anybody answer that? Why? Why does it matter? If you physically buy the disc, even do it like PC games or old school PC games where you have an activation code that can only be used once. I'm fine with that. Make me put in the code. Again, if you don't have internet, you're screwed. So I sympathize with those people. That's not fair. But if you're going to make us connect, give us the one-time code, Ubisoft, that will attach to our PSN or Steam or Xbox, whatever. Now you know I purchased the game. I own the game. Now I should be able to be offline with it. No? I'm keeping a bullet point of controversies. Thank you, man. That's awesome. Good morning, Jeff. Love the stream yesterday, buddy. I checked out a bit of it before I went live, and thank you for the redirect. Much love. Dale, every time nowadays you have to go online and have a day one patch. Is this because of piracy? You think it's because of piracy? What do you think? Christoph, I don't usually talk about that kind of thing on my streams. I'm not trying to be rude, my friend. I don't bring up stuff like that. I appreciate you asking. And don't be offended, okay? I'm not trying to offend you. I just don't talk about stuff like that on my channel. At the moment of publishing, Ubisoft has not confirmed any of this backlash. We don't expect the change for a handful of reasons, but it does. Yeah, so they're going to do it. You have to be connected. TJ, you can answer this because you play Ghost Recon. You have to be connected to Ubisoft in order to play it, correct? Dale says this isn't the old days where you could just put in a disc to the system and just play the game. Right, but I guess, Dale, what we're trying to find out here is why a single player game, and this is a single player story driven game, why you have to be connected to Ubisoft all the time. Let's just say you have internet, the power goes, or not the power, but your internet goes out. Should you not be allowed to play your single player game? Diablo 3 is a constant internet thing too. Blizzard had to patch it out. Well, at least they rectified it. That's the first controversy. No, you can play offline with Ghost Recon. Okay. So I'm wondering, guys, like, you tell me, do you think it has something to do with piracy? This is just the first of a few controversies that this game has had, okay? This is the first one we're discussing. So please weigh in. I'm curious. I don't believe piracy. I don't believe in it. Like, this game comes out, you should absolutely have to purchase it. That's just the way it is, right? Hey, Rose, how you doing? Good to see you again. Have a good day at work. Hope your streaming's going good. All right, that's the first. It gets steamier. Don't you worry. What else do we have here? I have about 4 windows up. Well, I guess should we do the cost? So this would be on the official Ubisoft website, right? This is Canadian dollars. Keep that in mind. Here are the 4 different ways that you could play Star Wars Outlaws. Oh, Severus, this is just scratching the surface. You got 3 subs in 1 stream. Wow. That's great. Good for you. That's really good. Keep it up. Consistency is the key, my friend. So this is Canadian dollars, so I know that the standard would be 69 for my American friends, and I'm not sure about everyone else. $89 Canadian for the game. Okay. So this is where people are starting to lose their minds. The gold edition is $144, which gets you the base game and a pre-order bonus. Okay, well, what's the pre-order bonus? We click on it. We don't see any kind of pictures. We see a cosmetic pack for your speeder, a cosmetic pack for the Trailblazer spaceship. So skins for a single-player game, which they don't show. 3-day early access. So EA has been doing this for years. EA has been doing this for years with their sports games, particularly NHL and Madden, where if you order the collector's edition, I don't think they have it anymore, but over the last 5 or 6 years, they did this, where if you pre-ordered it, you paid $10 or $15 more for the special edition, and you got it the weekend before. So if the game came out on the Tuesday, you would get it on Friday. JLS says that's about $104 US. For what, the second one? All right, TJ. Appreciate that. Okay, so play the game up to 3 days before the official launch date. Internet connection and Ubisoft account are required to redeem the digital content. Please check your system requirements and product details and restrictions. They warn you before purchase and upon the game release. Stanley says, no, sir. I don't like it. Okay, so here's the US pricing from Matt. Let's bring that up on the screen. 69, 109, 129. Ultimate Edition. We get the base game, the pre-order bonuses, 3-day early access, the season pass. Oh, here we go. So for $25 more? Rogue Infiltrator Bundle. The Rogue Infiltrator Bundle includes cosmetics for Kay, who I think is the protagonist. Nyx is the little creature, I think. The Speeder and the Trailblazer Starship. What? The Rogue Infiltrator Bundle includes cosmetics, okay, for your character, for the sidekick, another cosmetic for the Speeder, another cosmetic for the Starship. So you're getting, this is, for what, $25 more, a couple more skins. The Sarlacc Shark Bundle. I have no idea what that is. The Sarlacc Shark Bundle includes cosmetics for Kay and her blaster, Nyx, the Speeder, and the Trailblazer spaceship. Once again, this is the third cosmetic pack. The third cosmetic pack. Let me get to some of your comments here. We got one more. Digital art book. Is that not the average cost of games now? I believe $100 Canadian is pretty standard for new releases. 100%. 100% it is. What, mine's from the Ubisoft website? Or yours? Yeah, yours. Okay, yeah. Digital art book. $169. Well, this here, like I showed at the beginning of the stream, is the Knights of the Old Republic. The online collector's edition that came out in 2011. Okay. Here it is. It's beautiful. It's a work of art. You got a Darth Malgus statue. You got a physical art book. You got a mouse pad. Everything under the sun. You got the soundtrack. You got a bunch of in-game cosmetics, which are shown by my fat face there. So you got a couple of companions that you couldn't get anywhere else. You got just a boatload of stuff. This was $200. I believe. I'm pretty sure it was $200 when that came out. We often talk about a fantastic game that came out a few years ago called Cyberpunk. Working at EB Games, I remember us getting the collector's edition of Cyberpunk in. It was $350. So let me ask you this, right? What's the difference? JLS says lots of people asking what happens years down the road when Ubisoft moves on. Yeah, Severus is right. We did a stream about that a couple days ago, mate. We talked about it. Yeah, that got brought up because that's a big problem. Delisting games. Now, a single player game like this might not ever get delisted, but who knows with Disney, Star Wars, and Lucasfilm and everything else? Who knows, right? Look at Willow. Willow's gone. Just vanished. The Willow TV show is just gone. So who knows? You would think that something like this would never disappear, but if it does, that's it. It's gone. Christoph, I'm very I get a lot of sinus issues during the spring. And in my part of Canada, it's like freezing cold one day, then it's really warm the next day. So it does a number on my sinuses. It's quite painful. I'm not really like sick, like it's not contagious. Okay. Matt says, so the gold edition is adding a few skins. It looks like 3 different bundles of skins, Matt. For extra $40. Ultimate will triple the amount of skins. Yeah, there you go. For 60 above the base game. So I'm not saying skins are not cool. Because if you play something like World of Warcraft, apart from the armor values that these skins give you, they just look cool. You want to get the new skins because you want to show off to your buddies and everyone else in the game, hey, I did this dungeon that took 2 hours with 40 people. Here is my reward. Look at, I have the Almighty God Fire Armor tier 20. Let's be honest, that's what it's about, right? Same with the mounts. You get the ship, you get the mount because you want to show the person, hey, look at this. I earned this. I did this amount of work in the game. Here's my reward. If you do that same amount of work, you could also do that, right? So it's a single player game. You're not having the ability to show that off. So does it really matter that much? And I mean, you have a protagonist that is the protagonist. You can't create your own character. It seems that way, at least. So you can't, like, you're going to be able to, like, this is going to be like, I'm guessing, like, you're going to be able to find different outfits and armor sets anyway. These are just specific armor sets that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else in the game. Does it, right? Like, I'm kind of here. I'm 50-50. So the price point, I gotta say, I don't see what the big deal is. My point to having this bad boy up here from almost 15 years ago is to show you guys, you already know this. You guys know this, right? Collector's editions have always been expensive. I guess maybe the argument can be made because you get a physical statue of Darth Malgus in this and some physical items. These you're not getting any. You're not getting any. You're just getting digital content that's not really yours. Show it off in game streams, yeah. No, it's not a physical art book. It's a digital art book, which is even worse. So this is the one here that I can't stand. You can't see my pointer right here. Ultimate Edition. But this is their Ubisoft monthly. So you can get access to the Ultimate Edition of Star Wars Outlaws for $19.99 a month. So the Netflix paid service model, you can have access to all of this stuff. Oh, we didn't highlight the season pass. I didn't talk about the season pass. That's my bad. That's my bad. This is a good point. So the regular game does not come with the season pass. So this is what the season pass is. The Star Wars Outlaws season pass includes 2 DLC that will be released after the launch. Keep exploring the world of Star Wars Outlaws and the all new stories, quests, so expansion packs. Okay. The Jabba's Gambit exclusive mission available at launch. The Kessel Runner character pack. Why do they have to keep doing that? Why do they have to keep playing in the same sandbox? Why does everything have to be connected? Have you guys seen the trailer for this? I can show still images of it, but there's a shot at, what's her name? Kay, the character? There's a shot, yeah, Kay. She's standing in Jabba's palace looking at Han Solo and Carbonite on the wall. Why do we have to still play? And why does it have to be in that time period? It's so irritating. She visits Jabba. Yes, but why? He's the biggest crime lord. I understand why, but I'm just saying why. Like, why? Can we not just leave that stuff alone? Nope. Ubisoft has their hands on Star Wars now. Now they want to play with the characters that George Lucas created. Anyway, I guess that's a minor gripe. So this last one I think is the biggest culprit. I will never subscribe to Ubisoft for their digital service. Some people might think that this is worth $20 a month. I know, I'm just saying they could have done Crimson Dawn or something else, or I'm sure we'll see a bunch of crime syndicates, but it always comes down to that thing we know. It's got to be Jabba. Oh, crime. It's got to be Jabba. Old Republic, first expansion pack, the Hot Cartel, because we know the Huts. It's got to be Jabba. Like, that's my point. I've been griping about this for years. I'm hopeful the High Republic stuff will slowly push the IP out of this time period. I do too, dude. I love, that's the best time in Star Wars, the Luke Skywalker era. Of course it is. But we've had it our whole life. Can you imagine if something like Star Trek, Matt, just did like Kirk's era? They just played with that. And even at that, I feel like they would do a better job than Star Wars does, than the writers of Star Wars now. Because they just play in this little sandbox. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. $20 a month. I don't know. I can't even name 3 or 4 Ubisoft games I would even want to play. So that's just my taste, though. Yeah, go to the future. Go after Rise of Skywalker. Let's do it. Sure. Have you seen any of the gameplay stuff? I can show bits of it. So here's an idea of what the game's going to play like. Again, I can't show much, right? It looks beautiful. Like we can skip through it a little bit. Can't show the trailer, guys, unfortunately. Sorry. Yeah, like it looks beautiful. They got all the little details, right? Planets look gorgeous, right? Look at that. That looks so good. Look at the wind blowing in her hair. Her hair going, the dust blowing. Look how awesome that is. That looks fantastic. Seems choppy to you? Here's some stills we can take a look at. Yeah, I think it looks great. Now, are we the question is, are we going to get the illusion of an open world, or are we actually going to get an open world? Do you know what I mean? Do you know how Destiny kind of tricks you into thinking it's an open world? Mass Effect does the same thing. They kind of trick you, right? Where it's not really open world, like off the beaten path kind of open world. Yeah, it looks awesome. Coruscant, Coruscant underbelly. Gonna have ship fights. Looks great. So why is the trailer getting like 33,000 likes and like 100,000 dislikes? Why could this be? Huh. I wonder. Gamers are mad about ugly Star Wars Outlaws protagonist. Another article I've come across. This is The Gamer. What a stupid headline. Gamers are mad about ugly Star Wars Outlaws protagonist. Is that really true? Are they mad about the way the character looks? You guys tell me. This is the part I haven't really dove into. I've heard about it. BX, what's up, brother? outrage. It's misogynistic crap. Some gamers are upset about the protagonist in Star Wars Outlaws, calling her ugly. We saw a similar backlash from Alloy from Forbidden West, as it has become a conspiracy theory that developers are making women ugly on purpose. Of course, Outlaw Protagonist is styled on 70s fashion because the game is set during the original trilogy, which is why she looks like Sigourney Weaver. And no, Sigourney Weaver is not ugly. Let's just let that sink in for a sec. Of all the things you can complain about, you complain that the character is ugly. What a horrible thing to say. What people are saying stuff like this? You have nothing else to do. Like this is your day. You're mad at Star Wars because the character isn't hot enough for you. Isn't Daisy Ridley pretty much perfect looking? And you complained about her too. She's too perfect. I heard that she's too perfect looking. She has all the powers for nothing and she's too perfect looking. Well, what do you want? This makes me defend this game. This makes me want to defend this game so bad because it's the most insulting thing out of all this stuff right now. Let's get into it. I dove into the ugly character stuff. It's lame. Okay, we're gonna get into that, buddy. Misogynist gamers are pissed about it. They need their curves on their heroines. JLS says ugly characters are ridiculous. Why can't they all be sexy like Palpatine? Oh, touche. BX says, I mean, if you see the model, she looks different. Same like Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2. What the F happened? Speaking Moisty says it's called acting. The character does not have to look like the character in a video game. Oh, that's true. That's true. I think I do have one article where they show the actor, but we're not done with this one yet. I feel like this is an outrage. I feel like this outrage is why gamers get stereotyped is blank blank losers living in their parents' basement. Daisy Ridley is kind of hot. Speaking Moistly says. Stanley says Jabba is pretty. I think Daisy Ridley is like perfect looking. I think she's like, do you know what I mean? But I say that about like Natalie Portman, Carrie Fisher. I think they all look great. And from what I see, I forgot her name. Kay. It's a video. First of all, it's a video game character. So what? Who cares? Are these people upset because it's a female? Which also, who cares? That was another thing that Ray got attacked for. Oh, our hero is now a female. So what? Are we really doing this? Water is wet, the sky is blue, and gamers are mad about women. Star Wars Outlaws dropped a new trailer this week and has been a surprising amount of backlash towards the protagonist, who many are now calling ugly. Gamers complaining about Alloy have clearly never seen real women before. Okay, so this is I know the game, I can't think of it. Someone help me here. This PlayStation game. She fights the robot dinosaurs. Never played it. I know who she is. We've seen this a lot in the last we've seen this a lot in the past few years, from Mary Jane in Spider-Man to the player character in Fable 4 to Jesse Faden in Control. It's become a conspiracy theory among gamers that developers are purposely making women ugly, quotes, with one of the examples thrown around a lot this year being Poison Ivy, who in Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, is a literal child. It's a lot to take in. I guess my question would be, why are people sitting around doing conspiracy theories about what a character physically looks like? Do you know what I mean? Hey, Chad's here. We're talking about misogynistic comments and people attacking this game because the protagonist is ugly. Oh, there we have it. There she is. It's entangled in a lot of other online conspiracies, but the major one you'll see pop up in these threads about Outlaws, so called ugly protagonist, is that a company called Sweet Baby Inc. had a hand in it. I have no idea what that is. Let's find out. Uh, they're a narrative consulting firm, but many gamers believe they are pursuing developers and injecting their games full of woke themes. Apparently, ugly protagonists fall under that umbrella, although many more are in agreement that Outlaw's lead isn't ugly at all. She just looks like a normal woman. So, this is her. What gamers are saying and what everyone else is replying to. Oh, God, I'm on Twitter. Western activists tried to destroy real life femininity. Challenge impossible. The model from Star Wars Outlaws should sue. Yeah, so who said it in the chat where she's hired to play a character, right? Mocap, do the lines, do the voice, that kind of thing. They have free right to do with whatever they want with the way she looks. Oh, I'm on Twitter. Whew, that was close. So Severus says, I mean, Leia, Ripley, Marion, etc. They're all a long legacy of strong female leads. This is not woke. It's standing on the steps of history. And there, those three characters you mentioned and actresses are beautiful. People can't listen. People can't be this shallow. They just, I refuse to believe it. There's no way that this is actually a thing. So you go from Ray, who's too perfect looking, to now this character who's too ugly. Dudes, what are we doing here? You'll probably see her back of her head for most of the game anyway, except for the cutscenes. Yeah, but even if she is ugly, your definition of ugly, whatever that is, who cares? Well, it's a video game character. Oh God, here we go. I guess are these tweets? I don't know who this person is. Woke Ubisoft destroys Star Wars Outlaws. Female actress made ugly again. The only explanation for this. Give me a break. Look at this. So this is how Cal Kestis is portrayed in the game, and then they do a side by side. Look, they picked the most unflattering pose for her face anyway. She's in mid smile. So I don't understand. What's the agenda? What am I missing here? Oh, that did pop that up for you guys. My bad. Uh, like they picked a photo or a still of the character speaking in mid sentence. Like the model on the left, she's posing for a picture, right? They pulled a screen cap from the character talking in mid sentence or doing some kind of movement, and they made sure that it was like frumpy looking. I don't understand it. Like what? So that's the comparison I wanted to show you. So that's how Cal was represented, which was exactly like the actor, and they're saying that this actress has been uglified for what? For woke politics. I'm glad I don't understand this stuff because it just seems like this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is entertainment. This is popcorn. This is video games. This is what you're complaining about. Like this is blowing me away. Uh People are calling the Star Wars Outlaw protagonist ugly, and I don't get it. She's literally like objectively so pretty. So if I saw her in real life, I would be obsessed with her. Okay, well, that's another issue. That's a big issue too. Another quote: people mad about Star Wars Outlaws girl being ugly is effed. Sigourney Weaver was the hottest woman alive in 1979, and you're mad about that type of girl making a comeback. So what is it, her haircut? She has a Star Wars haircut. She literally just looks like a normal woman, quote, and honestly, considering she's an outlaw in the Star Wars universe, she's a total looker. Let's get to some comments. Stanley says that the game's fun, I don't care. I'm with you too. Probably just see the back of her head. Yeah, we got that comment already. I'm a broken record. It's acting. Somebody can portray a character. That does not mean they have to look like them. Amen. Cal Kestis looks almost exactly like the actor that was set the precedent for the model looking like the character. It's also a different developer. Ubisoft, she signs the contract. They could do exactly what they want with her. She could have been like Ahsoka, right? She could have been like a full alien, and you wouldn't even see her face. Toe to toe, welcome to the stream. In my opinion, male protagonists just make, is that sense? From an adventure standpoint, also from a strength versus emotional response to women just not normally being confrontational in a physical way. That's your opinion? Having an adventure game is almost demands a male protagonist. Oh, that's not true at all, mate. I disagree with you, but hey, that's fine. We can disagree. Greetings, Ghetto. I don't think the issue here is the female protagonist. I think the issue is the beauty standards, where we went from Daisy Ridley, who was too perfect looking, from the hate fans. She was too pretty, and now we have one that's too ugly. So stupid. Lara Croft needed no man. Amen. My happy compromise is to make a male and female choice for the player who bought it. That would certainly be an option for sure. But if the story, if they wrote it for a female, they wrote it for a female, just like the sequel trilogy, right? And again, this is just our different opinions, right? We're all free to have them. So you can say whatever you want. Don't feel like you're going to be judged. It's totally cool. Chad says, my issues with the game are completely different than the engagement farming outrage making the rounds. Well, but nobody has said, like, we haven't, I've mentioned it a couple times, I'll say it again. Star Wars fans, a lot of them, and I was in the thick of it during the sequel trilogy, right? Daisy Ridley as Rey is too perfect looking. She's too perfect looking, which I also thought was stupid. Now we have a character that's too ugly. It's just like we need to take our energy and put it towards something a little bit more worthwhile. I really do mean that, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody. I think talking about having to be perpetually online for a single player game is much more of a topic of discussion than what someone physically looks like. In fact, I find it quite insulting. Who is anybody to judge what someone looks like? It really pisses me off. We saw a similar anger towards Horizon Forbidden West. That was the game where Aloy was revealed to have slightly bigger cheeks, as many people do, hair on her face. That's just how people look. Even more bizarrely, a lot of anger towards Outlaws protagonist stems from her having a 70s style hairstyle and fashion, but Outlaws is set during the original trilogy era, which came out in the 70s. That's why Sigourney Weaver looks like that. Yeah, exactly. They're trying to keep it accurate. Look at Han's hair and Luke's hair, for God's sakes. Right? That's as 70s as it gets. But we love it because that was the time. So if my hat goes to Ubisoft, I tip it. If you're going to do it in that period, at least make the people look like they look like. Do you know what I mean? Make their haircuts like 70s or 80s or whatever. Tonito says Lara Croft was still feminine. She dominated her enemies with skill and with prowess, not strength. It made sense. I like Lara Croft. Ghetto says, for us old schoolers, Lara was the first hot woman we love to follow around a game. Praise all. I think it's weird that a lot of these people are looking at a video game character, not you guys. I'm just saying the people that are getting outraged by this on whether she is attractive or not. Do you guys not find that weird? In a video game? It's just weird. That's the end of that one. Oh, we got another one to look at here. Found another article. Fandom Wire. She's 80s hot. True gamers destroy incels for accusing Star Wars Outlaws didn't make the lead character hot enough. Get these ads out of here. Come on. What's wrong with the way she looks? Incels got annihilated after they claimed the Star Wars Outlaws lead character Kay Vess is not attractive. Well, if that's the case, then why is the like to dislike ratio on the trailer so bad? Does the game look bad? I don't think the game looks bad at all. Hey, Lisa, welcome on in. Lisa says, if we're not attractive, we're worthless, I guess. That is ridiculous. But that's what I'm saying is that you got Daisy Ridley, who is, more or less flawless looking, and people complained that she was too perfect. Her character had no struggle. She looked perfect, blah, blah, blah. Now you're getting the opposite, and then they complain about that too. The Totito says the woke journalists and anti-heterosexuality. Think about it. It's not my opinion. It's the response to the publications. I think we put way too much time in thinking and talking about stuff like this. I think the story should be wrote by people who are qualified to write for, in this case, Star Wars, such a big IP. You should have to take a very large test, much like several stages of a job interview, to see if you were qualified to write for Star Wars. Arguably, not even arguably, the biggest pop culture IP on the planet. If you're going to write TV, a video game, or film, you need to have qualifications. That's number one. Most of the people that come out of Disney Star Wars are not qualified to write for Star Wars. That is my opinion. I have seen it. I've seen it on the screen. That should be the first thing we need to take care of. I don't care about people's political views or their politics. I don't care. And I never will care. Make the character that you want for the game you want. That's it. Some people on social media are facing backlash for claiming the Star Wars Outlaws lead character Kay Vess is not hot enough. The official story trailer for Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws is officially out, and on YouTube, the game is facing some criticism from a certain section of gamers for an absurd reason. Yeah, having to be online for a single-player game. Some people are unsatisfied with how Kay Vess is portrayed in the game. Being the lead character, these people are expected the character to be more appealing. Thankfully, many gamers unedited on social media to destroy the incels. United. She's ugly, really? Identity politics is just listen, live your life how you want to live your life. I could care less. As long as you're happy, man. Toe to toe, I would agree with your statement there. They stopped doing everything Star Wars. I think Force Awakens was a good starting point. I've said this before. I enjoyed it. But then again, you got Ryan Johnson, who, in my opinion, was not qualified to write for Star Wars. And more importantly, the people that he has to answer to didn't make sure that him and JJ Lawrence Kasdan were collaborating. So you have contradictory, changing characters that JJ has to pick up and clean up by the third act. Do you know what I mean? Lisa says, if this were a man, we would never be having this conversation. Yeah, they brought up a point of that where they showed Lisa, that actor that's in Shameless that I said was in a Star Wars game, that his portrayal of his character Cal Kestis looks exactly the way he does. And let me see if they show this side by side. We're gonna get to some tweets here in a sec. Yeah, it's on the other page, but they showed the model who played her. And the fact that this one has been altered a bit. And the fact that the male playing Cal Kestis, his model was exactly the same. I agree. Speaking moistly, you nailed it. The original three had different directors, but you had Larry from Empire on in George's Corner, right? So the story kind of evolved, but it made sense. Where in the sequel trilogy, you had two different directors. One didn't like what the one built up, so he tore it down. Consequently, you get the sequel trilogy, which I tried hard to love and I want to, but I can't. Let's not forget Star Wars was made for children. Always has been, always will be. Yep, said by the man himself. Exactly. The Acolytes trailer alone had hundreds of thousands of dislikes without a single episode being seen. It has to stop. Well, I will say the Acolytes trailer to me is not appealing. I didn't dislike, like I don't thumbs down stuff I don't like. I just don't interact with it. But based on the trailer, Severus, I don't want to watch it because to me it doesn't look entertaining. But that's me. I'm not going to go on a tirade about it. I just don't support it. But we're all entitled to our opinions, right? Do not make me hate explain the argument. Same time toys. What's up? Rogue One gave a lot of people hope, but then not. Tonato says, personally, I'd like a male protagonist with this cool girl following around doing epic adventures. That would be cool. Disagree. But once again, that's fine that we disagree. I think she's perfectly capable of going on an adventure herself. The argument is that the media men are all hot, jacked up, sexy dudes, and they make the ladies ugly. Okay, if this is true, let's look at this. Why are they making the ladies ugly? Which, by the way, once again, I do not find this female unattractive. She's just a normal woman. So, let's say that that's true, speaking moistly. Why are they doing that? What's the agenda? And people always throw that word around, which I can't stand. What's the agenda? What's the purpose? Sever says you can hate Disney's politics, but real fans are making great content and people are hating for unrelated reasons. I think when you have an IP as big as Star Wars, you're going to get a giant amount of hate regardless. It's just unfortunate. But I would never pee on anyone's parade for enjoying Severus the Acolyte. Never. I think if it gives you happiness, that's all that matters. It's really all that matters. We're talking about entertainment, people. We are so privileged. It's not even funny. We're arguing about video game characters, about what video game characters look like. This is what we're doing in North America. No offense to everyone who's not North America. This is a very privileged conversation. Like, we're arguing about our entertainment. Chad says it's weird. The no-brainer projects at Lucasfilm failed to start Rogue Squadron, but the dumpster fires get all the effort. I believe, Chad, because you're getting people who don't know. They're not qualified to write Star Wars. Not as in from a writer's perspective, they don't know how to write a great script. They don't know how to write a Star Wars film or TV show. They don't know enough about the backstory. I'm sorry, if you're going to write a Star Wars story in 2024, you have to know the lore. You have to know the lore. That should be a no-brainer. But these people who are unqualified, in my opinion, to continue to write Star Wars stories keep getting the jobs. I'm not saying they're bad writers. I'm saying they're not fit to write Star Wars movies. Ghetto says women shouldn't be treated like items for pleasure. That crap really gets under my skin. I agree, dude. It's ridiculous. It's 2024, man. I love all these people too that get down on women. Forget that man is literally right in woman. Like, well, man, it's like it's so stupid. It was brought up earlier. We had Marion Ravenwood from Raiders. Willie Scott, love her or hate her. She was a great character in Indy. We had Princess Leia. We had Ripley. We had Padme in the prequels. We had Rey. Don't care what you guys think about Rey. That's fine. I liked Rey. You had Rey in the sequel trilogy. There's so many great characters that are female. Why this male versus female thing is still an argument in 2024 is beyond me. Toto says, I am a published author, and some people don't like my books. I don't cry about it. I do listen to their concerns, but ultimately, I don't let them sway the stories, of course. Perfect. That's how it should be. But with Disney Star Wars, that's not how it is. It's just not. I agree with you there. You should have confidence in your story, the story you want to tell, and put it out the way you see it should be told, for lack of a better word. If it does well, that's great. If it doesn't do well, take a look at it and figure out what you can do better. But I think Disney listens to too many people who don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Star Wars. Marvel, I am no expert on. Star Wars, I am. So I can't speak about Marvel, but I am sure as hell qualified to speak about Star Wars. Matt says, let's put it this way. If every female protagonist has to be a goddess beauty level, then every male character has to be gosh darn handsome level. So everybody can get their, rocks off. Everyone wants to look at attractive people, sure. But I just think it's weird that we're talking about a single-player video game character. Oh, I'm out of breath. This is great. Same time Toy says, I liked Rey, but then everything went sideways. Yeah, man. I can't believe people got mad because she was too perfect looking. Like Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill are really tough on the eyes. You know what I mean? Two good-looking dudes right there, right in front of you. All three movies. Carrie Fisher, goddess, right in front of you. Come on. Rey's too good-looking. Stupid. Back to the article. Some people on social media are bashing Ubisoft for not making the female lead of the Star Wars Outlaws not hot enough. The character Kves is a young human female from the workers' district in Canto Bight on the planet In the Star Wars universe, the Star Wars expert can't even pronounce the planet name. Cantolica. Yeah. The unnecessary hate against K-Vest's portrayal. And it's like gamers and social media. Okay, so let's get to some of the tweets. These are Twitter posts, okay? I cannot control what they say. These are Twitter posts. Oh, Same Time Toys, I love you. Thank you. It's very kind. I appreciate it. I'm not going to say the person's name. You can read it for yourself. This is a quote. Good morning. Apparently, people are upset that the girl from Star Wars Outlaws is not attractive enough. And the reply is, first of all, she's 80s hot. She looks like every haircut from the era that attractive people had, men or women. Okay, it was a wild time. She just has a rocker's cut, for God's sakes. If we forgot what rock and roll is, people, she's got a freaking rocker. She has bangs. Oh, it's so wild, isn't it? The 80s were crazy. They had bangs. Sorry to bring this into you guys. It's always the jawline. No reason to give every woman at AAA games a male jaw. So why do they do it? What? She's got a jawline like a man? Is that what they're saying? This is the main character for Star Wars Outlaws. Can't wait to not play it and watch it fail. This is my problem here. This is my problem right here. Mr. Bartfest, random shenanigans. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. You thought the same, Jay. Great. Let's bring you up here. Welcome on in. Love the pick, by the way. Look at it. Look at this guy. This is the main character for Star Wars Outlaws. I can't wait to not play it and watch it fail. Oh, whoa. That must have hurt Ubisoft bad. You took the time to tweet that. What a cesspool Twitter is. Give me a break. You can't wait. Then why don't you just not talk about it? I can't wait to watch it fail. That's what pisses me off. The taking pleasure in this stuff, like turning into dumpster fires. Why can't you just, like, if you don't like it, don't play it. But why do you wish misery? This is why I don't have Twitter, by the way. I can't stand it. This guy, I haven't interacted with a real woman in ages. Well, that's unfortunate, I guess. I don't know. Personally, I think she looks cool. I can't wait to play the game. These are comments from the post on Twitter. I can't imagine my biggest criteria when a game is revealed being the main character is not hot enough. Amen. Amen. Why are you playing the game if you're worried about the character being hot? It is indeed unusual that players are more interested in the character's appearance rather than what the game has to offer, says the article. Set during the period between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Star Wars Outlaws features a fully open world, stealth and open world combat, vehicle combat, space combat, and branching dialogue trees. Check out the other trailer for the game below. Not one of these articles has even talked about what the game is about, what kind of game it is. This is the first we've heard of it. Stellar Blade, there's controversy with that game too. So this is just people like going off the handle for no reason. TJ, give me a Rebellion game in the style of Ghost Recon. Doing hit and run missions against the Empire and play that. Was it Republic Commando? Kind of like that. That was a 4-player or 4-person squad. Now what's wrong with Stellar Blade? There's something about the protagonist. We're not talking about that. Just they're unhappy with how she looks too, I guess. Joe, welcome to the stream. Joe says, the property masters have gone out of their way to deconstruct and repurpose beloved franchises in the name of socio-political movements. That's why the hate exists outside the normal internet hate. It's a lot there, buddy. It's a lot there. I don't know if I fully agree. I think you're getting writers who are not qualified to write for Star Wars in a story capacity being hired to do so. I believe that. Social political agendas, I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care what people can identify with whatever they want, and I'm fine with it because that's their life. That's not my life. Right? I think when you have something as big as Star Wars, no matter what happens, you're going to get people angry with it. But I must admit, out of everything, what we talked about price point, we haven't even talked about the game yet. No one's talked about the game. But the first was the price point and how being online only is ridiculous, and the cost of the collector's edition. That's nothing new. Collector's editions have always been hundreds of dollars. That's the way it is. Okay? Being perpetually online through Ubisoft servers with a single player game is ridiculous. Yes. But you have the choice. People act like, especially I notice Star Wars fans, and I am one of them, that because something new comes out that says Star Wars, you have to be involved with it. If you don't play this game, Star Wars fans get the impression that you'll be looked at as not a real Star Wars fan, which is stupid. I am a real Star Wars fan. Like you, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a baby. I have not seen one episode of Ahsoka, nor do I want to. Does that mean I'm not a Star Wars fan? Come on. Joe says, agreed, the writing is subpar. The writing is terrible, dude. It's people admitting that they haven't even looked back and watched the prequels. The Obi-Wan show? You're writing a story about Darth Vader, and you haven't watched George Lucas's prequels. And you get a job writing for Star Wars. Help me. Help me understand this. Sever says, I'm going to need your Star Wars membership card back, Jay. Damn it. All right, dude, I'll mail it to you. TJ says, to be honest, she could be a stickman for all I care as long as the game is fun. Yeah. I agree. I think we're just looking at the wrong stuff here. My big nitpick out of all this, okay, was the fact that we do see, and I'm going to see if I can bring it up. If I can bring up the still. Again, we can't watch the trailer because we'll get in trouble. Let's see if I can bring it up here. I'm going to try and do the still from the Ubisoft site for the story trailer. Where's the story trailer? Oh, there it is. It's over here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. She looks fine to me. I just stopped on that. She looks fine to me. Call that ugly, I guess. Well, 95% of us are ugly, I guess. She kind of looks like Andrea Barbeau. I think that's how you say her last name. There it is. This was the only thing that I had a problem with. Was that she's in Jabba's palace looking at heart and carbonite. It's Star Wars Outlaws, Jay. It's about outlaws. It's about crime syndicates. Of course, Jabba the Hutt is going to be there. And my point to that, again, is why set it in that same time period? But they had to. So, of course, you got to see Han and Carbonite. Because why? Because. Chad says, bottom line, I have enough games to play now. And a lot less time to play them. So no matter what, I don't care to play this game. I haven't even played the Cal Jedi games. Too busy. Yeah. And that's just it. But you're not going on tirades about it. I played the first Jedi, was it Order? Whatever it's called with Cal Kestis. I didn't really like it because I'm not a big Souls guy. Big deal. Looks amazing. Her hair's very tight. Her hair is killer, man. I think it looks great. She looks like Johnny Depp's character in Blow. She looks like George Young. The haircut's great. Joe says, I walked away from Jedi Fallen Order twice. Picked it up for third time. Love it. Go figure. Funny you say that, Joe. I did the same thing with Fallout 3. Excuse me. I hated Fallout 3 when it came out. I hated it. But I'm like, there's something about it. I kept playing it. Eventually, I loved it. Only Ubisoft stuff I've purchased are the last 2 Ghost Recon games. Same Time Toy says, I can't be part of this conversation. I don't play video games anymore, but I do enjoy watching other people play. Oh, that's fair. But you can be part of this conversation same time because you can understand what we're talking about, right? And I think one of the, excuse me, the thing that's not being brought up the most is what the actual game is about. It's about a bunch of people complaining about their entertainment and that she's not attractive enough. That's why we can't have nice things. Yeah, it's silly what people will do and say. Yeah, Twitter's awful. I got when it's Twitter a long time ago. Neil, what's up, dude? I've yet to play Jedi Survivor. I'm so behind. Only so much time, buddy. And as you get older, harder and harder. So, what have we learned here? What have we learned? We have learned that I think people have too much time on their hands. Actually, I want to go back here real quick. Here's the game. Here is the Canadian price points again. For Star Wars Outlaws. Standard, whoops. There's the prices, sorry. Standard prices, AAA titles on consoles, and some AAA on Steam are $89 Canadian. People complain about video game prices all the time, and I'll have to say, if you look back at the 64 years, if you look back at the Sega Genesis years, games were this much, if not more, especially in 64. I remember Rainbow Six was $89, while Super Mario 64 was $69. The THQ WWF games were always more money. Phantasy Star 2 on Genesis, just the cartridge with the little guide it came with, was $129 Canadian. These price points are nothing new. So I don't care. If you don't want the collector's edition, don't buy it. I personally don't find any value in this because for $169, I want something physical. Give me the statue of Kay. I'll take that. Give me a statue of her ship, her companion, something tangible that I can hold. But it's my choice just not to buy it, and I won't be doing that. Simple as that. Vickman says, I'm looking forward to this game. Love Jedi Survivor and the previous one. Well, this is a different company. This is Ubisoft. This, I don't want to compare it to Assassin's Creed because realistically I have no idea, but it looks like a semi-open world, at least like that. Matt says, there was a time where I didn't judge games based on the publisher. I based it on the gameplay and if I enjoyed myself. Now I'm looking at how publishers try and nickel and dime us to death. Amen. Matt, would you consider this at these price points? Keep in mind they're Canadian. Would you say that this is nickel and diming? High prices are the exact reason I do not have a PS5 yet. To defend the video game industry. Prices have always been like this, dude. Like I gave a bunch of examples there. This is going back to 90s pricing. Is it too expensive? It's not really for me to say. But collector's editions, $169. Like I said, this Old Republic here, this collector's edition in 2011 was $200. Again, Cyberpunk collector's edition, $350. That's nothing new. The big difference here is you're not getting anything physical, which usually that's the point. Or are you getting the physical game? You have to be. You have to be for that. You have to be getting the physical disc, right? Because everyone's complaining about the disc. Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, my bigger issue is for me personally in this Ultimate Edition right here, the third one, I don't see anything that I want. Why didn't they make a Black Series figure of her that would come with it? That would be great. I want something tangible, right? Cosmetic games for a single player, not that enticing. Cosmetic games for an online game, that's a bit different. Matt says, yep, this is very much nickel and diming. I'm just looking at the extras you get with the enhanced editions, and they don't look equal to the price points. What do you think about facial recognition for GTA 6? What is that? Facial recognition. Elaborate, my friend. TJ says, Matt, I totally agree. I used to walk into a shop, buy a budget game from a Commodore 64 for $199. The game was actually sometimes really good, even at that cheap price. Not always. You win some, you lose some. And TJ, I'm going through Steam now for really the first time in my gaming life and finding a bunch of indie titles that are a lot cheaper. Really having good times with them too. So not everything has to be these AAA titles. I totally agree with you. Oh, it was to prevent kids from playing Grand Theft Auto. So how would they do that? You'd have to log into the Rockstar website with your phone, and then what? Like they would recognize your face like your iPhone? That's how you log in? We talked about this on my stream last week. That was a little ridiculous that you have to be logged in and a member too, Rockstar's social club, in order for me to play Grand Theft Auto Vice City on Steam. What does my single player Grand Theft Auto Vice City have to do with being online? It's chronically online. Vickman says, I choose carefully the games because prices are so high. I remember when 360 games were cheap. Well, they were always at the minimum for a AAA title, $59. I still say that's up there. Hey, that's almost the price of a 6-inch figure. Am I right? But games now are $89. And again, I'm used to it. That doesn't bother me. That's just what games cost. Right or wrong, doesn't bother me. I've been through all the generations and they've always been around this price. If anything, I'm shocked that video games aren't more expensive. Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but two-factor authenticator. There we go. Two-factor authenticator kind of thing, using facial recognition instead of a code. Well, yeah, you're not gonna stop kids from playing Grand Theft Auto. You just won't. You just won't. And too many parents are oblivious to what's in it and don't care. I've seen it firsthand. Kid comes in, dragging the mother behind. The mother that I've seen, parent, on their smartphone. I've seen it 1,000 times, not even paying attention. Kid brings up Grand Theft Auto, and I have to tell the parent, do you realize this is M because of this? Oh, yeah. He sees that on TV. He sees that on his iPad. Like, that's okay that he sees that on his iPad. As someone who works closely with fraud prevention, the use of facial recognition is shockingly pervasive in our everyday lives already. Fair. Games were more expensive in the early 90s. Yeah, and this, like I said, speaking moistly, the 64 era, depending how big the game was, because it was on a cart, they would charge more. A lot of the third-party stuff was more expensive. I remember Rainbow Six being astronomical, like $89, $99. Mario Brothers 3 for NES. I still have mine. $99.99 it cost my mom at Toys R Us. Amazon is killing Toys R Us and GameStop right now. So many discounts. Good. Good. Toys R Us is not what it used to be. And I know that Neil, well, we did live in the same city, but we had 2 Toys R Us in the city we're at. I don't frequent them because they're too expensive. Because they're trying to be this corporate entity still. And still knowing that people have the nostalgic factor and come to visit it like it's the promised land. Let me tell you guys, Toys R Us is not what it once was. They don't even have games anymore. Not that you can buy physical most of the time. I think this will be the year where they finally disappear. Didn't stop kids from playing GTA 5. Yeah, yeah. So, I don't have the poll up, but who is going to buy this game when it comes out? I definitely want to check it out. I think it looks good. From the gameplay I've seen, which again is the the thing that people are talking about the least. Toys R Us has always been more expensive than other stores. It was nice to walk into a building. Yeah, and it looks like that now, dude. Like the shelves are stocked, but the shelves are stocked here because a NECA figure is $69. In my city here, speaking moistly, there's a really, really great comic book store called Heroes, which is the biggest comic book store in Canada, by far the best. But other than that, for toys, that's it. So I always go to Heroes first because I would much rather support a local mom and pop shop, right? So there's that Toys R Us, and then you have the usuals like Walmart. TJ says I'm not actually finished Jedi Fallen Order yet. I haven't had time to be honest. Yeah, and I didn't particularly like it myself, but I don't like the Dark Souls games. I should rephrase that. I like them. I'm not good at them. I'm terrible at them, and I don't want to put in the time it takes to be really great at them. Man, I sound like crap. There you go. That was a great conversation. That was a great morning coffee. Thank you. And I still have some left. Can you believe it? We're going to be trying something new today, right after this, for me. And because, Fallout, the Fallout TV show is out, I've watched the first episode. Really enjoy what I'm liking so far. And because of that, there's a lot of Fallout stuff going around in the video game world. Right now on Steam, you can get Fallout 76 for free. And I never played it when it came out because it didn't appeal to me. There was no quests or NPCs or anything like that. It was very bare bones. So I'm like, nah, now it's free. The game is completely different. I'm going to try it out. We're going to play it for the first time at 12 o'clock. So if you guys want to come on back, hang out, play some Fallout 76. And those of you who are vets, and I know there's a few of you who are veterans, can kind of show me around, but I'm excited to see it. Again, if you guys want to play it, it is free right now on Steam for the next 4 or 5 days. And if you wish to purchase it, I think it's like $7 Canadian. Really cheap right now. Yeah, you have to pay for it after, right? Thanks, guys. Come on back at 12. Let's hang out. That has been Morning Coffee. Go top yourself off, and we'll see you in a half hour. Cheers.